Hello, it's me again. I've been wondering how in the government they're gonna pay for all this crap. Stay tuned for the Derek O'Shea Show to find out. Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show, where we discuss culture, news, politics, and more. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to tell your friends and family about the revolution. Hello from... Sorry. There's this little clip from Janet Yellen that is being circulated. And I think it's very telling. I think it tells us kind of who the Democrats are, as we always have known, always have supposed and assumed. And it's very telling, and it should give us into insight of what our future is going to look like as a country, because I think it's important. I think we have a culture, my culture, younger cultures in general, that has a money problem. All we are is about feel-good moments, feel-good emotions, likes on Instagram, being influencers, taking pictures, doing our van lives, murdering people. We're all about those things. But we don't want to talk about money because money is icky. Money makes us lose our minds. We'd rather just go into debt for a college degree on gender studies and then come out wondering, how are we going to pay for this? Hopefully Joe Biden, as some of my friends say, hopefully Joe Biden will actually come through on the promise and get rid of some of my debt for me, because I just don't know what to do with it. As they buy another house, buy a new car. It's got to have that new iPhone 13. Got to have it. I don't know why, but I just need it. Janet Yellen said something crazy about the debt ceiling. Let's listen to the words out of her mouth, as they say in Japan.
To deal with this in the future and can focus on real crises.
Here we go.
Responsibility. Typically, we give ourselves the authority to decide how much of the residual, which is paid with debt, we are going to pay for. It's political suicide. I am a co-sponsor and supporter of my friend Mr. Foster's bill, H.R. 3305, to end the Default Act and take that tool away from Congress, because Congress has proven that we cannot be trusted with that responsibility. Secretary Yellen, without getting into the specifics of Mr. Foster's bill, would you support simply eliminating the debt ceiling so that we don't have to deal with this in the future and can focus?
Stop. Would you be in favor of eliminating the debt ceiling? Even that question on its face value is insane. Would you be in favor of just getting rid of the debt ceiling? Let's not actually talk about money and how we're going to pay for these things and stuff like that. We need to get rid of the debt ceiling so we could just pass these bills, because we're in a crisis. We're always in a crisis. Climate crisis, COVID-19 crisis. What other crisis you can come up with? I don't know. National security crisis. The government can come up with anything and label it a crisis, and therefore just pass whatever they need to pass. And then he just comes out and says, are you in favor for getting rid of the idea of that is insane. I can't get a credit card and just, my credit card says you have a $25,000 limit or something like that. And I can't just keep spending over that and then just calling them and saying, hey, I'm tired of negotiating my debt ceiling. Can you just allow me to spend how much I want? And they would say, absolutely not, because you're not going to freaking ever pay for this. So why would we do this? Because that's insane. Only an insane person would ask for that, because we know you can't afford this and you're spending money that you don't have. But, this is how our politics works. They see it as like, oh, but we're the government, so we can do that kind of thing. It doesn't take an economic, whatever, however you say it, degree to understand basic principles of spending money you don't have. Eventually, the debtors are going to call. Eventually, that dollar is going to collapse. Eventually, the thing, you get $15 an hour minimum wage, yay! But now that burrito at Chipotle is $500. 500 rupees, whatever you want to call it. We have a spending problem, and we don't want to deal with it because it's icky. Ew, I don't want it's money. I don't want to talk about that. Let's just talk about green energy. It makes us feel good on the inside. Let's just talk about infrastructure. Let's give billions and millions of dollars to Pakistan for a gender studies program. That's what we need to do. Instead of locking down our borders, we should just send money to these third world countries, because and then they just use our money poorly, and then the people come anyways. So we'll just keep spending money. We have a money spending problem. And it goes across all boards. It's not just a Democratic issue. It's a generational cultural issue of money and what to do with it. We have to have flashy things. We have to have new things. I deserve this. I deserve that, as opposed to just being thankful for what you have. We have a culture that thinks they deserve these things. But let's continue. Let's go back to this question. Here we go.
Debt ceiling so that we don't have to deal with this in the future and can focus on real crises?
Yes, I would, because I believe when Congress legislates expenditures and puts in place tax policy that determines taxes, those are the crucial decisions Congress is making. And to finance those spending and tax decisions, it's necessary to issue additional debt. I believe it's very destructive to put...
Okay, I can't listen to that anymore. I'm about to fall asleep or about to punch myself in the face just to stay awake. So basically, our Congress wants to do this. I can only think of 21 Jump Street when I thought of that.
Do the same thing. We want to burst through our ceiling. You're going to find another ceiling, and you got to bust through that one. And you just got to keep hammering ceilings.
Okay.
What if we...
That's what our Congress wants to do, is just burst through the debt ceiling. Just keep bursting through, because if we just keep bursting through, we don't have to ever stop. Well, and if we get rid of the debt ceiling, we could just spend money because it's a crisis and it's okay to do. This is what the government thinks is okay to do with your money. This isn't their money. They don't make money. They take money. One of the great white supremacists, even that sentence alone, Ronald Reagan. Just kidding. Just saying that out loud. We just live in such a crazy world. I feel like if you're a conservative, you're immediately a white supremacist somehow. And media world, they can't actually have a conversation and have a discussion. They just call people names. It's like I'm back in school again. I used to be a school teacher, and just hearing some of the things that come out of these people's mouths, I'm like, hey, did you ever grow up? Was it private school the whole time for you? Because you never experienced like calling somebody something and then getting the crap beat out of you, and then you learned, I'll keep my mouth shut. I honestly, is that the case? They're all just rich private school people who have never been in a fight or called somebody a mean name, and then that mean person turned around and beat the crap out of them, or like the other way around. I mean, we have like this weird bullying issue in America where no one's called out for their transgressions anymore, or it's like a bunch of puppies in what is it called, a batch? I don't know. A bunch of puppies getting birth, a litter. What is it, litter? Yeah. Getting birth, and then the mom roots out all the bad problems, and then they each other root out all the bad, like biting and nipping and stuff like that. And if you take the puppies away too soon, then they don't ever get to get rebuked for their stupid moves. And so then they carry it on to you. And that's what we have. We have a bunch of politicians who didn't get their bad issues, their bad moves, and rebuked early on. And so now they just carry it on in real life. Ronald Reagan once said, "We don't have $1 trillion debt because we haven't taxed enough. We have $1 trillion debt because we spend too much." That's a quote to be written down. That's a stupid quote because it's so obvious, not because he said it, or it's just such an obvious quote. But yet that's profound for our government because they don't know how to stop spending money, your money. They overspend it on all kinds of things, and they say, well, we need more money. We don't have enough money. I guess we need to tax the rich. We need to tax this. We need to do more of this. We'll tax your mileage. We'll tax your gas. We'll tax your cigarettes. We'll tax... instead of learning how to deal with what they spend and how they spend it and actually be held accountable for things, and we're seeing like General Miley and stuff like that. All these people, none of these people are held accountable for their actions. We'll just increase the debt ceiling. What's the problem? Obama once said, the problem is the way the President Bush, this is Obama, okay? And of course, he completely changed course as soon as he got in power, but, voting for a change. The problem is the way President Bush has done it over the last 8 years. It is to take out a credit card from the Bank of China in the name of our children. And that's what they've done, and that's what Obama did, and yet this quote is great. Driving up national debt up from $5 trillion for the first 42 presidents, number 43 added $4 trillion by his lonesome, so that we now have $9 trillion in debt that we are going to have to pay back. $30,000 to every man, woman, and child. That's irresponsible, and it's unpatriotic. That is Obama said that. Obama. And yet he continued to raise it anyways. We have an incredible debt problem in our country that no one wants to talk about, no one wants to deal with, and we just keep breaking through the ceiling. We have inflation up higher than it's ever been in a long time. We have gas prices surging. We have container ships being locked out of the coast. Look up, I was going to do this story on the container ship. There's container ships that are just circling, not unloaded. So we're going to have a supply chain issue. We have people not going back to work because of unemployment and job change. And, you know, a lot of jobs were lost, small businesses and whatnot. And some people aren't going back to work in the same industries. We have a huge reckoning coming as far as our debt and as far as how we live for the money and the money we make. We have a reckoning coming. And I want to know what your thoughts are below. Let me know your thoughts. This is a quick podcast. Just let me know your thoughts. I love you. I hope you have a great day. I'm going to do another video out soon. This is a double video Friday. Look out for that. But let me know your thoughts on this. I cannot believe Janet Yellen said that. Supposed to be an apolitical person who's like, no, anybody with a brain would know that doesn't make any financial sense and is not a good look for the future of the dollar. But this is what politicians want to do with your money. Your money. It's not their money. Remember, it's your money. Have a great day. And as always, I'll catch you on the next episode of The Derek O'Shea Show.